Hey everybody on YouTube. Today I thought I'd take a moment out to do another repair today. This is a Panasonic AG-6200. What's unique about this model is this is a professional VHS PAL playback recording system. The biggest problem is these machines were the heavier duty ones of the time, but they used a lot of rubber parts instead of the gears that they kind of switched over to the later models towards the end of the VHS era of that time. Okay, now this is a professional AG-6200 VHS PAL machine. I'm going to walk you through a repair. This thing is suffering from playback, rewind, loading issues, you name it. But this is a very simple fix, and I'm going to explain to you a few little trouble spots and the type of things you're going to need to do this kind of work, and pretty much the overhaul of how the machine is fixed. So here it is, the AG-6200 Panasonic VCR PAL conversion VHS machine. Okay, first of all, on this particular machine, before you get started, you need to take the cover off. Get the cover off the top of the machine. Then you're going to have to remove the loading carriage. Most of the time they don't have any issues. They might be stuck or loading properly, but I'll walk you through that a little later. But to remove the loading carriage, there's actually 4 screws, 2 on each side. Okay? You got to take the screws out, and you're going to notice in the back of this has got a little motor circuit board. There's 4 wires that actually plug into this motor circuit board. You need to unplug those, and this whole carriage will lift straight out. Okay? So once you get to that point, you're about ready to work on the upper part of the mechanism. Okay, now the entire mechanism is exposed. As you can see, you got your video head and drum right here. You got your pinch roller right here, your pinch roller motor spindle right here. You got your clutch, rewind, fast forward tire, well, gear or tire, which is located right here. You got your rewind, you got your fast forward, and you got your, basically it's everything. You got your erase head, everything is exposed so you can actually work on it. So here's what you do. You want to inspect everything first. Make sure the video heads are clean and the video heads ain't broken. Take a look at your rubber roller. Almost every time the rubber rollers are bad or shot, and you have to replace them. As you can see, this lifts straight out so you can actually replace the rubber roller. I already put a brand new one in there, so you want to change that out first. Those are always bad. Then you want to inspect everything and make sure everything's okay. Here is your tension band. As you notice, there's a tension band on these for the rewind and fast forward. This little band right here. You'll notice almost all the time the little felt pulled away from that little brass band. You have to take this off and re-glue the felt back on the band, because that's one of the biggest issues with the rewind and sticking on these machines, is that felt actually pulls away from the dried out glue from the band. So you want to do that. Actually, there's a screw here, and it actually lifts off of this little piece. It just take a little screwdriver, it comes right off. You can take the entire band right out and put a brand new felt on. Then you want to put a brand new clutch rubber tire. Here is the clutch wheel. You want to put a brand new clutch tire. See this little tire on here? You want to change that out and put a brand new one on there. Those are always cracked and not working properly, and you need to put a brand new rewind. This thing goes from one end to the other end for rewind and playback. You got to change that clutch tire out with a brand new one. All right. Then you're going to want to make sure all the drag pads are still on the mechanisms. If not, you got to glue those back on. Okay. And I recommend you using Gorilla Glue. That's the strongest glue in the world for gluing these little pads back on these plastic parts. But you want to make sure you fix the rewind fast forward band. You want to make sure you fix the clutch tire with a brand new tire. This just rolls right off of this little wheel, and you put a tire on there. Very simple. And then once you do that, it's for your rewind fast forward. So your rewind and fast forward problems are taken care of, because that's your main mechanism right there. So basically that's pretty much all you have to do on this unit, because it's pretty primitive and bulky for the time, and they just used one clutch tire and some bands. And you want to check to make sure your video head is clean. And let me show you the underneath part of the machine. Okay, on this particular model, once you get the bottom opened up, basically you got one board, circuit board, that just unscrews with one screw, and it lifts up on hinges. See that? And it opens up like a door. And then once you open that up, the bottom of the mechanism is exposed. As you can actually see here, there's a plastic cover that covers the mechanism, all right? Basically, you take these two screws out, and this whole cover basically comes right off. See how it comes right out? Now, as you can see, there is there's actually 3 belts on this unit on the bottom. You need to replace all these belts with brand new belts. It's got to be done. These things are cracked, and I'm guaranteeing you they're bad every time. You have to put brand new belts. It's 1, 2, 3 on this mechanism, real easy, but you got to take out the belt and actually measure it up to get the right size. Once you do that, you can actually get brand new ones and replace it. They're very common. You can find them almost anywhere. So you want to put brand new belts on this unit. Okay, now you want to make sure that the capstan motor spins freely. Take these 2 little screws out. This is your actual motor mechanism, slides right out. You want to clean the pin on the other side of this little shaft that's on this thing. So you want to take these 2 screws out and lift it straight out, okay? And then put it back in and put the screws back in, and that's pretty cleaned and ready to go. All right, but basically you want to make sure all these belts are changed out. Once you do that, you're pretty much about almost home free, really. So get that done, and then we'll tell you about what kind of supplies you're going to need. Okay, here I laid out all the supplies you're going to need for the lower and upper part of this VCR. Okay, here you'll see a bag. These are all rubber clutch wheels, little tires. I got a whole bag of these with many different sizes. I've been getting these for years, so I've been collecting parts. So I got tons and tons of parts for VCRs. But see all this bag? I got almost every value there is size-wise is in this bag. All right. Now you got all the belts. You see these are all come in different sizes. I got a bag of the large round belts, more round belts, more, these are smaller round thick belts, more belts, and more belts. Okay, you need tons of belts for these machines, so you need to have a supply. They no longer make these belts anymore. They're really hard to find, so you need to know where to find them. Just do some searches for belts and buy as many as you can if you're going to be a repairman for VCRs, because you need belts and you need rubber clutch tires to actually fix these machines. Alright, okay, here we go. We're back at the top part of the unit. As you can see, after you change the belts on the bottom of the unit, like I showed you, and replace those, very simple. Get the right size belts. It doesn't take very long to do. You close it back up, put the screws back on, and you flip the unit back over. Alright, in this particular machine, I have to fix an actual switch, so I'm not going to be able to put the unit back together and show you, but once I fix that switch, I'll be able to actually put everything back together and show you this thing working. But, it's very simple. Once you get the actual carriage out, you just make sure you change your clutch tires, fix these little felt bands, make sure you use glue and glue them back in place so they don't fall off. Or if you have brand new bands, replace it. But finding new bands for these VCRs are extremely hard to get. So you make sure you got a new rubber roller on these, and make sure the VCR video heads are clean. This machine now is like brand new, all brand new rubber and tires, and it's ready to go. So then basically it'd be just installing the carriage and loading the machine, and this thing should play like it was when it was brand new. Hope you enjoyed this video.